All right, welcome back to the Movement. My name is Zoe Levine, and today I want to kind of maybe not for the last time, but I want to at least get one more round of our full foot treatment. So all the things for the feet, and bring in the other two, the calf stretch that we've done before. Maybe you've let that drop off as we've gotten farther away from when we introduced that, and then the top of the foot stretch. So just trying to bring in kind of all of the things so that you can continue to pick and choose what's working best for you, but really focusing on the feet today. Last week we did kind of a extras and worked up the shin. Now we'll take full foot treatment and a review of some old stretching movement vitamins. So go ahead and stand up. Shoes are off. Make sure you have your balls in hand. We'll use all of them. Every single one of them we'll use. And just start standing tall. And I do invite you to close your eyes if that feels reasonable to you, if you're in a space where that feels safe and fine. And the only reason that we might close eyes at all is it helps to kind of shut down one of our senses so that we can turn up the volume on our sense of proprioception. And so with eyes closed, you can more easily notice what's going on in your body. So the things that we're looking for, noticing where your weight is on your feet. Do you feel more weight towards your toes or towards your heel? Inner arch or outer arch. Sometimes you'll feel like one foot has more weight than the other. And then you can also kind of tell sometimes as you feel into what your legs are doing. Ideally, your thighs are relaxed, the fronts of your thighs relaxed. Sometimes you'll feel a little gripping of your kneecap lifting or a squeezing of the quads, that fronts of the thighs. Notice if you're getting any of that. Another thing that happens here, that compensation issue that we talk about all the time, is the glute squeeze. You might feel your butt cheeks squeezing together or squeezing down toward your hamstrings or sitting on your hamstrings. All those are just compensation patterns. Ideally, we don't need them. We're stacking bones, but just to look out for a notice. You can also notice throughout the whole rest of your spine and your back, are there any other areas that are feeling either compressed or a little tense, right? And then open your eyes. And so this full foot treatment will involve all three of the balls that you have. We'll start with that soft one. Always we'll start with the soft one. And this is the one too that you can do pretty mindlessly, right? We can do it in this focused way, or you can step on it just about anywhere, anyway, all over the place on your foot. And that's a great benefit too. But for this, for our purposes right now, you're going to step right at the eye of the center of the foot, right smack in the middle, and start moving all your joints around. Knees, hips, shoulders, spine, everything gets a little movement and a little wiggle. And then we get that nice shearing sensation at the bottom of the foot. You can decompress from there. The point we're looking for is the ball of the big toe. You can step down there. So it's that bony kind of nugget, right, in the thick of it, and then decompress. And then find the same point for the second toe. So it's not the toe itself, but that bony nugget below. Decompress, go to the next one. Decompress. The next one. Keep going, just making sure the volume is down here. And then make sure you've gotten all the way to that fifth ball of the foot. And then the next area is the inner, excuse me, the inner arch, right between the big toe and the heel. That's a little random. Good. And then closer to the ball of the big toe, settling there. And then outer edge, right between pinky toe and heel. We're going to get these same points with that small firm ball, not the second, but just kind of preview upcoming attractions, right in front of your heel. So we're going to hit all the points with a softball. It's a great way to warm up and prep the tissue so that when we start moving to a more firm ball, this small one, and keep in mind, you do not have to use this small firm ball. If it's too much, go right back to that soft one as we go through, but it's the same points and you don't have to put all your weight on the foot. So right in the center, I'm not even gonna look like I'm putting all my weight on that foot, right? I've got it out in front of me. It's a big ball. You do not need all your weight on it. Does that make sense? Keep it really sweet and soft. And then where this ball kind of, I feel like feels a little bit more magical is when you get to those bones, the bony joints here, the ball of the foot. When you step down on this firm ball, you get a little bit more of that pressure to widen the front arch. You're in charge of how much pressure you're receiving here. So you don't have to put, again, all your weight on it. And then you move to the ball of the second toe. Again, it just, however much weight feels lovely and feels like a lovely stretch in the front arch, kind of opening your bones. And then the next one, look for the bone, right? Look for the bone. And then the next one, it's like the thickest part of the bone. You can go kind of high and low and try to find where does it feel like I'm on the thickest part of the bone? And then to that pinky toe side on the bone there. Inner arch, again, you can be really sweet and gentle with this one if you are using the firm ball. Just gives you a little bit more feedback. Closer to the ball of the big toe, still the inner arch. Outer arch right between pinky toe and heel, just inside that bone. You feel that bone on the outside edge of the foot. Just inside of that is what you're looking for. Again, all my weight is not on here. That would be horribly uncomfortable. Most of my weight's on the other foot. And then right in front of your heel. And not all of you are going to want to use that small firm ball. Going through a second round with a soft ball is an amazing treat for your foot as well when you have the time. Get rid of that ball, and now you're gonna grab, I need to move this mat back, I think. But grabbing that large ball that's filled with air, it's nice and firm. And you're gonna hold, this is what we've done, we've been reviewing, but heel can be on the floor, wedge that ball to the center of the foot. So you can relax your toes down and around, and you can squeeze in, lift up and wiggle, squeeze and wiggle. Find your breath all the way down into your foot. And then pause there. You've got your gliding in front of your heel to open up that space really sweetly. You've got the glide on the heel itself, just over the bone, noticing what that's feeling like right now. And then right in front of the heel, a little smaller, more specific. And then we have our two rinsing patterns. Heel is to the floor. That ball's on the ball of the big toe. You rinse across the balls of the feet and gently come back. When you're rinsing across, the toes are going to relax down and around just because you're using some pressure. And we're coming light to the beginning. You can lift up your toes and then give it a little pressure, kind of fall down. Good. And then from here, toe to heel, rinse down the foot, gently come back. Second toe to heel, like a little massage. Third toe to heel, you don't have to stay there forever. Fourth, whatever tolerable pressure feels lovely. And then end with friction all over. Right? And then stand tall, close your eyes, feel a difference, not just between your right and left foot, but your whole right side, whole left side. Your legs might feel different side to side. Your back space might feel different. Your whole body could feel different, right to left. And then open your eyes, and we're gonna go straight to the other side for that full treatment. And maybe as we do this over and over again, you'll kind of get a little bit more used to those position points that we're using. So right in the middle is our point number one. Just standing tall, you can bend your knees, shift everything around, moving. And then pause. You can go to the ball of the big toe, stepping down on the bony joint. Again, we're soft. It doesn't matter much. You know, you're getting the basic idea of where you are, the ball of the second toe. But it's all soft. It's all sweet. It's all gentle. And then to the next one. And the next one. And the ball of the next toe, that joint. So that was a second area, right? You're kind of getting used to that pattern. And then the next is the inner arch. It's 2 points, the third area, 2 points there. Right smack in the middle is one. That's easy to remember. And then a little closer to the ball of the big toe. That one might be fairly easy to remember if it's like many of us, it's a favorite point to get to. It might feel really lovely. And then outer arch right between pinky toe and heel. And right in front of your heel. And then if your other ball hasn't run away from you, grab that. if you're using it, right, this small ball, not for everyone. And again, don't put all your weight on it. Just don't. Just be really light when it's at the eye of the center of the foot if you need. Most of us will need. And then you can go to the ball of the big toe. And here's where you can kind of feel the knuckles rise up and find that spreading. Ball of the second toe. Great for busting out of that cage that we sometimes, if we're wearing shoes that are narrow, do that often. Our feet kind of just start being more narrow and less useful, less supportive. The next one. So this is just a reminder that there's room to spread. And the next one, you can bust out of that cage. Once you've done all 5, again, you're getting used to that pattern. Inner arch right between big toe and heel. There's that kind of meaty tendon right in there. And then closer to the ball of the big toe, nestled near it or next to it, cozied up by it, but still in soft tissue. Outer edge right between pinky toe and heel. And then right in front of your heel. From here, switch out for the large, firm, kind of air-filled ball here. And see if you can get far enough in front of you where the ball can get itself wedged really in the center of the foot. And you could still maybe squeeze your toes in a little bit and lift up and wiggle. Maybe it's just about relaxing your toes around the ball. Mine don't really squeeze on this side, but a little wiggle, relax and wiggle. You'll find your way of shearing that center of the foot. And then toes down to the floor. The ball is right in front of your heel. You can glide side to side there. Might be hard to do if you're on a hardwood floor with this ball. It's a little slick. Helps to be on the mat. You can go right on your heel, side to side. And in front of a little smaller, more specific. Good. And then from here, heel comes to the floor, ball to the ball of the big toe, and rinse. Completely rinse across the front of the foot, allowing that stretch. Lift the toes up to come back to the beginning, and then with pressure from the ball of the big toe, toes are relaxed to the other side. Lift up the toes to come back to the beginning and rinse across. And then you've got toe to heel. Gently come back. Second toe to heel. Come back. Third to heel. Fourth. And fifth. And end with friction. Rub down all over. And switch sides. Same thing on the other side. Back to just that friction. And switch again. Go ahead and let that go. Stand tall, close your eyes, settle into your feet. And again, noticing that difference. And if you have been using the softball to step all over your foot and getting some amazing, lovely changes, notice if there's just something different that you get with the full treatment, with a little bit more pressure, a little bit more opening. Or maybe it's the same exact thing. Maybe you get a little bit more freedom, opening, listening, length, grounding, whatever it is that you've been finding. Also, you might feel if you do a quick walk around your space, you might find a little more connection to that freedom in the pelvis that we can get by opening up the feet. So notice if you found any of that or more of that than you kind of have been. And then a couple of our kind of go-tos from the beginning. Maybe you've already found ways to work this in all the time, but let's go back to that calf stretch. The front of your foot on whatever you use, blanket, towel, fold it up. These half domes work nicely. And then you just start stepping the other foot forward. If it goes, right, we still might be here. And if you have been doing this entire time, if it hasn't kind of gotten dropped, which happens as we're adding new things, that's normal. You might notice that you've been able to get a little bit further with that foot, right? If this has been a consistent practice for you, you may have started out back here where it's a little tight, or kind of side by side with your feet, and maybe you've found a little more space. So that's a pretty big deal. And if you haven't found that yet, because this has gotten a little lost, just a sweet invitation to bring it back in. Remember, this can be part of that foot playground we talked about. If you have moments during your day where you can be standing, whether it's at a standing desk, or you can be standing during a meeting, or standing during a phone call. These are all things you can add to your playground, right? The calf stretch is part of it. Step back and just stand on your own 2 feet. Notice how that just gets you more space in and around your ankle, and it's like you stand into your foot very differently. Same thing on the other side. Taking a moment to really hang out here. Letting your heels settle and be heavy. Really kind of, you're still kind of standing on both feet. Right, standing into your heel. And again, this is so simple. You don't have to be paying a lot of attention to this, right? You could be doing something else completely. It's usually the best place for it when it is attached to something else completely, because you're more likely to do it consistently. And pushing the other foot forward if you're getting more space. It's my tight side. Yeah, let that go. And just kind of, again, feeling, oh yeah, that's even more, it's different to do that walk around. And the last one we didn't do nearly as often as that calf stretch, but still a valuable piece to the foot and ankle puzzle. And that's the top of the foot stretch. So we'll end there. And this is the one you may not even remember. I might have touched upon it super quick on one session. But it's this idea, if you bend both knees and try to get, it's like you're trying to get the top of the foot, like way up high on the top of the foot on the ground, and then try to straighten so your toes are really getting pushed under. And just to give you a view from the front, I want you to make sure you're not letting the ankle sickle to the side. If you saw it from the front, it would be one straight line. And just hang out there for a moment. Because again, foundation of everything else. If your ankles aren't giving you the freedom that you need in order to walk well, you're not going to walk well. There's going to be a lot of compensations. Walking and standing. Other side, same thing. So if you get both knees to bend, it's like you can really get the top of the foot kind of high. You get the higher part of the top of the foot on the floor. And then as you straighten, some of that's going to come away from the floor, but you're going to get a nice stretch across the top of the foot, or along the length of the top of the foot. And making sure you're not off to the side, which might feel nice, but it's not what we're trying to get at. It's not the space we're looking for. Good. And before we come back together and wrap it up and finish, just take a little walk around your space. Notice just everything, how everything's functioning, how hips feel, how legs feel, all around your ankles might feel just a little bit more open in a way that changes how you're moving. And that's it. Just a little idea of review of the full thing in hopes of just getting a little bit of that maybe into more muscle memory. Still go with squishing the ball around however you like. Still go with using all the balls however you like. But just to reiterate, at least one good solid way of getting through a whole series, and just continue to pull from that as you like. And then just making sure we haven't dropped off completely. That calf stretch is still so valuable. Top of the foot stretch, similarly valuable. And that's it for today. Hopefully you bring some of those either back in or continue with what you have been doing. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Felt so good.
Zoe.
Hi, Jenny. Hi, Laura.
Yeah.
Thank you all, and we will not be meeting next week, so we'll skip a week. I know there's a big conference anyway, so that might be helpful.
Sounds good.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so much. Bye.
Bye.